listening to the Insum Insider with your hosts, Michelle Scamini and Monty Latulay.
Welcome to the Inside. This is the Insum Insider, your source for all things Apex. And wherever that discussion takes us, I'm your host, Monty Latulay, coming to you from Houston, Texas. And with me today is my good friend, member of the Insum family, Michelle Scamini. Hello, Michelle.
Hello, Monty.
At the helm. Keeping us on time and task is our producer, French-Canadian Mark Rule. It's Thursday, November 14th. October 14th, I'm a month ahead here. Season 3, Episode 1. And thank you for spending a piece of your afternoon with us. We are worldwide, coming to you live on YouTube and Facebook. The Insider is, of course, sponsored by Insum, and thus the name. If you're doing anything at all with Apex and you need a lifeline, reach out to us. We offer everything from coaching and mentoring all the way through to turnkey project management and development. We're laser focused on Apex, and we have been since 2004. Michelle, in this world we live in, and certainly in our industry, change comes rapidly, and change, for the most part, change is good. And we continue to evolve the show. Now we're in season 3. This year we've taken a pretty big swing at things. What are some of the changes that people can expect to see?
Well, first of all, hopefully you've noticed our brand new intro. I wanted to give a huge hats off to our producer, Mark Rule. I've been raving lately about our multi-skilled, multi-talented Insum team, but that's not just on the Apex side. So, Mark, thank you so much for that new intro. That's fun to see all of those clips go by. But more importantly,
hats off definitely to Mark. I took my hat off to Mark.
Well, the only thing I didn't love was it was a lot of, I saw a lot of my COVID haircuts going through. So that's fine. We can work on improving those clips. But more importantly, some of the changes we're making, we're going to be doing the Insider monthly now. So you might be used to bi-weekly. We're going monthly. We're also looking to tighten the format up. I don't think anybody has time for hour-long. Nobody wants to listen to us talk for an hour, Monty. So we're going to be tightening the format up, looking for trying to hit that 15, 20-minute sweet spot. So, Monty, I'll be counting on you to keep us on time.
Good luck.
Also, in terms of the type of content we're looking to share with you guys, we're really going to be focusing on community and Apex success stories. So on that, if any of you know of any great Apex success stories that you'd like for us to feature, please reach out to us. We would love to feature them on upcoming shows. So I'd say that's about it for big Insider changes this season.
Yeah, I think that as we pivot towards these success stories and showing what can be done with the tool, I'm always impressed with that kind of content. I know Jorge Rembles did a presentation some years ago about can you do that with an Apex template or whatever, and I always found that session great because I think we're all really good at some of the basic stuff, but it's when you get to the edges of the tool and really expand what it can do and really demonstrate what it can do. I find those sessions really compelling, and that's what we want to bring to this platform. Okay, let's get right to it. Michelle, much has been made of this. Earlier this year, we lost Joel Kallman, but we didn't lose our way. In fact, Joel left us with a roadmap of how to continue to grow this community and to continue to evangelize the tool. And if he's to be remembered for anything, in my mind, it's the community that he fostered. When I was with ODTUG about 10 years ago, we made the decision to implement communities across the various topic areas. And we actually patterned the model after the Apex community. In the end, while all of these topic areas benefited from being formed into communities, the Apex community consistently outperforms them even to this day. And it's entirely because of efforts like the one we're going to discuss here today, Michelle, and that's APEXd2d.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you were on Twitter at all this week. Just this past Monday was Joel Kallman Day. And I was amazed. It was Canadian Thanksgiving here, but I just couldn't keep away because I was blown away by the community sharing posts, still memories about Joel. You really felt Joel's spirit strongly. It's definitely alive and well. And I think that's maybe a good segue into what we're talking about today, APEXd2d. So how about we bring on some of the team members that are involved in the initiative, and they can tell us a little bit more about it. All right. We've got lots of people to bring on. Let's start with Team United Codes, all the way from Croatia. We have Jackie and Dimitri. Hi, guys. Welcome. From Team FOEX, we've got the one and only Peter, beautifully also on location from Croatia. Team MTAG, we have Patricia, Dennis. I think that's it. And then Team Insum, represented by Monty, myself, Stephen, and Bernadette. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I think I've got everyone. All right. Welcome to the Insider, you guys.
Good to be here.
Hey. Thanks for having us. Hey.
And thanks for joining us. We know that many of you are busy at the HROUG conference, so we appreciate you taking the time to be on the show. And Benjamin is not the only one noticing Peter's fantastic view.
Michelle, some of us are extremely jealous to see people on site again. I've attended 2 conferences in the last 2 months, and I know I speak for everybody on this call, is we're itching to get back out there. I mean, we want to be in front of the audience. We want to be in audience with each other. It's got to happen, just not soon enough for me.
Not everybody. Nope. I don't want to travel to conferences anymore. Sorry.
I get that. But it felt good to get back on the circuit a bit.
Sure. Yeah.
So, Stephen, well, I happen to know that you were one of the initiators of APEXd2d. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how the idea came about and a little bit of the history?
Sure. So hopefully everybody on the call has actually heard about APEXd2d. We announced it on Monday. It stands for Developer to Developer. And it's an idea that I've been thinking about for several years, pre-pandemic, but it really came to the fore when the pandemic hit. And suddenly we were very challenged about how the community interacts. Monty was just talking about how we love to go to conferences. We want to get back to conferences, but we're not going to get back to conferences the way they were before for any number of reasons: pandemic, climate change, etc. In addition, people are really maxed out on Zoom webinars, and that it's great that we can use these environments, but they leave a lot to be desired in terms of personal contact and interaction. So I've been having this idea about an Apex clinic that was actually generated by some activity by the Apex team at a Kscope years ago, in which they just decided to hold an impromptu office hour, set up a whiteboard, put up names and times, and said, anybody who needs help, just put in your name and come by and get help from us. Such a wonderful idea. Another reflection of the aspects of the Apex team. And I thought, hey, maybe we can do that online. So the fundamental idea behind APEXd2d is we've got literally tens of thousands of developers out there, Oracle database developers, Apex developers, who love the products, love the community, and want to help each other be more successful. And one of the ways I think we can do that is with direct person-to-person contact. So I thought, why not scale up and put it on a website built by Apex, of course, in Apex, and give helpers the opportunity to directly work with developers who need to get problem solved or code reviewed.
Great. Yeah, we launched on Monday, inviting people to sign up to be helpers. And Stephen, you want to share how many? We've actually had quite a few people sign up already.
130 people have volunteered to help. And what that means is that on November 30th, which is when we launched the initiative for actually getting help, or the week beforehand, if you've got a problem, an issue you're working on, let's say you're struggling with a dynamic action, you go to APEXd2d.net, you select dynamic action as your issue, you see who's available when, grab their session, and then on November 30th, you'll be able to get online with them and work on your problem. And hopefully this will spawn an ongoing 24/7 APEXd2d platform. So anytime you have an issue, go there first, see if somebody's available to help you, one-on-one, direct, real time.
So is this almost like a Calendly thing, to where it shows my availability, and then people can just book time on my personal calendar? How does that work, Steve?
Well, we're still working out the design of the actual website. So one of the things that's really cool about this project, and I know, as we mentioned before, I could talk the whole 15 minutes, and we want the team to talk, is that we're building this very quickly. So we've got like 3 different iterations, probably 4 iterations of the app coming out over the next several weeks. We won't get into all the details, but we're still working on the design of the final app for November 23rd to the 30th. But my feeling is you're not going to go there and see who's available when. You're going to say, I've got a problem with this issue. Is there somebody who can help? We don't want it to be where you're like searching out the person you want to meet with. And I've always had a crush on Shakib. I want to have a session with Shakib. It's more like, I've got a problem. Help me solve it. So it'll be kind of like Calendly, I suppose, but hopefully its own little variation. And
this it seems to have been, I know it's still under active development, but this came together really, really quickly. How did that happen, Steve? Did you make a call to an individual, or did they find you? How did this team get assembled?
I went to Insum Management. And I said, I've got this idea. And they said, all right, let's do it. And then we said, but we don't want to do it by ourselves for several reasons. One is that this should be a community initiative, and we don't want it to be even perceived in any way as Insum doing this. So, and we also didn't want to do all the work. So we immediately decided, let's come up with a short list of organizations we know about in the Apex community we worked with before, reach out to them, see if they want to help, and get moving. Obviously, there are a number of Apex groups who are not a part of the initial consortium. And that's not because we wanted to be some exclusive club, but simply that we needed to get going. We didn't want to have too many people involved because then we wouldn't be able to keep them engaged and moving forward. Hopefully over the next months, we'll actually pull in more and more developers to help us develop and maintain the platform. But it really was reaching out to Dimitri, to Peter, and to Nils, and say, hey, do you want to help? And they're like, well, they can speak for themselves. In fact, I'll let them speak for themselves. Mm-hmm. You got an email from Steven. Then what happened?
Let's start with Peter then, from his beautiful location. Peter, how did that happen? Why did you decide to get involved?
Oh yeah, the first thought was like, oh my, I'm too busy for anything, right? And it's difficult, but it's such a great idea. We should try to find some time. So I talked to a few colleagues, and one of my team members, Joel, he's not on the call today. He said, oh, brilliant. He's putting in time. He wants to do this. That's such a great idea. So it's to the benefit for everyone, right? We got to build a community. It's good for everyone. Everyone can help and be helped at the same time. Yeah. So why not to do it, right?
And let me just point out, Peter also agreed to take the tech lead role in this project. So thank you, Peter. I was not the one to do that.
I was just going to say, he went from, oh gosh, I don't have time, to becoming tech lead on the project. So we're really grateful. I know I follow the chats on the Slack channel. There's a lot going on. So thank you.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes, Michelle, was from my good friend Tim Gorman. And he said, if you want something done, ask a busy person. And that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thanks for making me volunteer.
How about Dimitri and Jackie from United Codes?
We were really happy. Sorry?
You weren't busy at all.
No, we weren't busy at all. And it was similar to Peter. Like, it's always nice to work in a group towards a goal. And this was a great initiative, which we are happy to support. So yeah, from day one, it was, okay, let's go all in on this and help. It's really nice to do something together with the community and serve the community. So.
And you've been instrumental in setting up our environments, our cloud environments, and doing all of the vanity URL stuff that you're so well known for. So thank you for all of that. Really appreciate it. Jackie, you and I have been working on branding and logos and colors. We still have some work to do on the color.
We do. We have a lot of work to do still. No, it's been fun. Yeah, I say we get to do the fun stuff, but yeah, social media, marketing, things that we maybe don't do all the time, but yeah, it's a lot of fun and it's a great cause. So happy to help.
weirdly banned Twitter accounts, which we didn't quite figure out what happened there. A little bit. And Jackie, you've been traveling a lot. Well, both Jackie and Dimitri, you've been here in Croatia this week, and last week you were somewhere else. So really appreciate you helping out amidst all of that busy travel. And Patricia, Dennis, Bernadette, you guys have been busy developing behind the scenes. So doing a great job getting things rolled out in quick iterations. So really appreciate that. Bernadette, you're a junior developer at Insum, doing a great job with the admin application. And I think I understood recently that you used to work with MTAG. So I think that was a nice opportunity for you to reconnect with old colleagues as well, right?
Yeah,
Done great
that
there.
was really great. Yeah, working with my previous coworker, and yeah, I'm really happy to be a part of this team, to work with all these great people, and working for this great and special app that we worked on. I'm really happy, and I am also so honored to be a part of this team.
Thanks, Bernadette.
Now,
Patricia,
Steve,
yeah, go ahead, Monty. Sorry.
yeah, I was. Well, let's go ahead and get through the piece we're on right now. I have a few more questions for Stephen. I understand things are still in flux, but I have a couple of questions. Let's go ahead and finish our introductions.
Yeah, just Patricia and Dennis, if you want to share what you've been doing on the project and your valuable contributions. I know, Patricia, you've helped me with the video and the audio, and you've got secret audio remastering skills that stretch well beyond your Apex skills. So that was very appreciated.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not good in video editing, but like doing the audio stuff is always nice. I think you can see what Dennis and I did on version 2, which we will launch in some weeks. So basically, the first version was mainly done by the guys from FOEX. So we are working on the logic so that people can set up their profiles and tell others what they are used to, like insert topics and stuff like this. Yeah, all of this will come in the next versions, and we're still working on this.
Great. Monty, you were gonna, you had a question.
Yeah, I can go ahead and get my questions in.
Yeah.
Okay, Stephen, I understand this is still somewhat in flux. Active development is ongoing. Once things as new versions are coming out, how are people being notified? Is it through Twitter? Also, I understand you had a small focused group to do this initial development, but we absolutely want to pull in other people in the community, other companies in the community, other individuals in the community. How are you going through that recruitment process? Are you just expecting them to come to us with APEXd2d, or are we going out and trying to really solicit their involvement?
So let's just go over the timetable real quickly. So our plan is on October. So we put out the site. We encourage people to sign up to let us know they want to help, or even that we want to be notified when it's time to ask for help. The next phase on October 25th is that we'll be inviting people to come back to the site and completely fill out their profile. So provide their headshots, provide their details about why somebody would want to ask them to help them on dynamic actions and so on and so forth. Then on November 23rd, the third iteration of the app comes out, which is it'll allow people to grab a session. Oh, Stephen's available at 11 on November 30th. I need some help with PL SQL table functions. Great, I got his session. And then on November 30th itself, it'll be the time to go back to the site, find your links, and do your sessions with the developers. So roughly speaking, that's the timetable. In terms of soliciting help from others in the community, one of the lessons we learned actually with the Every Fabi project with Vincent and I worked on for several years, and Michelle and many others, is that it can be a problem to ask for too many or to get too many volunteers too soon, because then they're left with nothing to do. So right now, we're not going to invite other organizations to join the developing group because we don't have that much for them to do. It's Apex. We can put this stuff together pretty quickly and easily, not like overnight, but you can see what we're going to be able to do in just a few weeks. All of you know what we can do. So we'll see how it develops in terms of pulling other people in. But the most important thing for all of us is to sign up to help that day. And as importantly, sign up when the time comes on November 23rd to ask for help. If we have 500 helpers, but nobody comes to get help, okay, the idea didn't work. So we need both groups to be in large numbers. So we'll be promoting this on Twitter a lot. We'll be using email certainly to reply to people to confirm their account, finish their profile, reminders that their session's coming up, all that kind of stuff. We'll still be using emails, but Twitter and LinkedIn will be our main public, reminders of the program as it goes.
Are there any plans? To gamify the site? Because I kind of hope it stays just the way you guys have described it. I don't, there.
You don't want badges? You don't want points?
No, I don't.
Actually, Michelle,
help. I think people should come here to get help, and our motives should be pure.
Well, I think we'll see how it goes. This could turn into something really big. I'm hoping that it's a way for us to communicate and work with each other that finds this really sweet spot between I'm not traveling, but it's not just, I don't want to have this passive receipt of information. I want to work with somebody directly, build those connections, you can build your reputation through this program as well. Anyway, hopefully people really love it, and then we can just broaden it out. It can be for all things database, it can be for EBS, it could be anything. It'll be a platform, at which point there probably will be more development. And at some point it might be the case that we do want to offer badges like, Stephen has helped 20 days in a row. Why not reward folks who are committing their time into the program? But I agree that right now we keep it simple, we keep it pure, and we really want to test out the concept. Does this grab people? Do enough?
Yeah, as long as the gamification is kind of builds strong habits, like you just said. Stephen's helped 20 days in a row and all that. If we're building strong habits and reinforcing habits, that's good. I don't want people to go in there just to try to amass points and that kind of stuff for any other reason than to help that developer on the other end of that Zoom call.
Hey, Monty, we'll mark that down. Monty does not want points. All right, got it.
It's because I know I'm not going to get any
else
points.
Don't want Monty.
Yeah.
I know what my point total is going to look like. So now, Stephen, there was a question. One of the questions I had was partially answered in the frequently asked questions in the FAQ on the website, and that was about building a knowledge base. I mean, I think there's an opportunity here where, look, I have a question. There's going to be great questions. There's going to be great answers provided, but it has to be the case that other developers are going to have that same question and should benefit from a correct answer. Your FAQ says we're going to encourage people to record the session and all that. Is there some type of if we're starting to have these sessions out there, how can I benefit as a developer if I have a question on dynamic actions or something? I'm not going to sift through 1,000 Zooms.
So again, this is a different kind of thing. So a developer who works at a company is going to sit down with another developer and show them their code, for example, talk about what they're working on. They may or may not want that to be public. That's number one. Our plan is to add, and we're also not centralizing control of the session. So each helper provides their own Zoom account or link or whatever it is.
Right. That's important.
Encourage everyone to record their sessions, partly because then there's a record if there's some problem in the future, for example. Somebody gets really mad and says, this person insulted me, there'll be a record. But in terms of publicly publishing the video or parts of it, if both of the members of that session, if all the participants agree to publish it, then I think it'll be great to publish it. So the main thing will be record them. We'll see what we're going to do with them later. But because it is a somewhat different sort of thing, that it's not a public event, each session is a private session, they have to make that decision themselves.
Yeah, that's reasonable. I really, Michelle, that was the questions that I had. I think we're still early on in the process. We're getting to the go live, but I'm really excited about having this available to me. I'm really excited about participating. Stephen, did you have any other things you wanted to discuss? Anybody else on the development team have anything they want to put forward at this time? I would say now's a good time to do that.
I would just call out, Kallman has a good comment here that we should maybe take offline and discuss about using our code review platform to keep track of things. We can see about leveraging some of the code we've got there. It's a good idea, Kallman. certainly for the code review part, because we're encouraging people to sign up who don't necessarily have a specific problem to work through, but simply want a code review, something that anybody can help with.
And you'll be able to rate, both the developer and the helper will be able to rate their sessions. They'll be able to post both public and private notes about the session. So again, for this first pass, I think the idea will be gather the data, obviously mainly help people. But as we're doing that, gather the data, and then we'll sort out as we go forward what we do with all that data. But yes, let's see.
I see this too, Stephen. I see this too as a big time savings, because Apex is a pretty intuitive tool. We can get there, but I know as whenever I was doing a ton of development, it was at a much earlier version of the tool, and now I don't do as much development. And so finding things where it's at in the tool, things have shifted around, and being able to save me a bunch of time in finding things, I think it's a real benefit to this program.
Great, thanks.
Important question by Niels, actually, and I don't know that we addressed that, whether it's only for Apex or also SQL PL SQL. And we want to make it perfectly clear that although it's Apex community built by Apex developers, certainly if you have helper issues around SQL and PL SQL, and we're looking for helpers in those areas, absolutely encourage you to sign up.
Mm-hmm. It's just kind of centered around Apex for a number of reasons, including my private reason, which is that I believe the future of Oracle Database, the future of PL SQL, lies in Apex. So we center it on Apex, but certainly Oracle Database developers should feel free and encouraged to make use of the platform as well. I'll be on it. I'll be available to give help on PL SQL. So whether or not it's an Apex PL SQL, I don't care.
Well, thank you all. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. Thank you, dev team, and thanks for taking time out of your conference schedule there over in Croatia. Enjoy your time. Be safe. Be very safe. Keep your distance. Everybody get vaccinated. Should you choose to do so, let's get safe. Let's get back to whatever degree of normalcy we can achieve in the future. But Mark, let's cue the music. Let's dance on out of here. We'll see everyone next month on the Insum Insider. Thank you all.
You've been listening to the Insum Insider.